Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 25, The Egg and the Eye.
Oh man, more like unlocking the riddles inside of the egg.
The egg, yeah. We don't really unlock any riddles inside of the eye, do we?
No, not so much. Not so much. I'm curious because I'm just peeking over at your page just a tiny little bit, and I feel like you've drawn an illustration of the way that a typical Easter egg on
opens.
Like opens.
Yeah,
which is going to be more of like your, I mean, it's a mid shell, but we're talking more like equator versus like prime meridian.
That's exactly what we're talking. In fact, I said like this, feels like the seam would be on the equator.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So just looking at the chapter art immediately, you've almost got an egg, if you can imagine, laying on its side, and instead of opening like top and bottom, it's opening like through, I guess, like the middle,
through like the wide end. Yeah.
It's a strange choice for how to open an egg, because under almost no circumstances ever does anybody open an egg this way.
No one would open an egg this way, because then the left side and the right side would be of different sizes.
Yeah. It's
an oblong way to do it.
Right. And it's kind of funny though, because we will often talk about like the character design of Mad Eye Moody and sort of like that steampunk style they went with, which has never been either of our favorites. However, I will say that the egg prop design and the way that it like kind of opens from the tippy top and then like has like little thirds of shell that open in every direction,
as opposed to like a hinge.
Pretty darn cool if you ask me.
I'll give the golden egg that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good prop.
Pretty cool. I don't
prop.
like the way it's depicted in the chapter art here, like a weird shaped clam shell or something.
It's an unusual choice. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I mean, it's kind of funny too, because I feel like even just looking ahead to next week's chapter, which is going to be the second task, you get a pile of it's gillyweed, but it's a whole bunch of worms kind of all squiggling about. So I feel like whenever you were in the process of designing all of these little bits of art, it must have been like, okay, we've got an interesting back to back.
We do have an interesting back to back. Although I'm feeling from your description of the next chapter like you don't like the chapter art in the next one.
Well, it's visceral to say the least.
It's visceral to say the least.
Yeah, like
I literally looked ahead. Sorry, spoilers for next week. I literally wrote 11 out of 10 on it.
I mean, it's beautiful. And I actually asked you as we sat down. I was like, what would you think if I were to get this tattooed onto my body? Like out of all the chapter arts, I got gillyweed.
Yeah,
because it would represent my love for things below water.
Yeah.
So it's like, people will be like, hey, what's that sort of jumble of worms you have on your leg? And it's like,
it's gillyweed.
It's gillyweed. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for asking. Yes. It does look like a jumble of worms, doesn't it?
It does. I have a jumble of worms tattooed on my person.
They look like they were done by different artists almost. Like the gillyweed is so up close and detailed, and the egg is just like this, like, lightly colored in small minuscule thing.
It does look a lot like maybe like a little bit more phoned in, I guess, if you will. Like maybe like the intern came in on this particular day and they were like, hey, can you draw an egg? It's like, I can probably draw an egg.
Who was the artist here? Mary Grandpré.
Yes. Which it's a name I feel like as a lifelong Harry Potter fan, I should absolutely have
for sure. Since we critique her art every single week as if we could draw it all.
You're right. We should really stick to dissecting the plot, which we're good at, and not art, which we're definitely not good at.
For the most part, they are all, I mean, she's a very talented artist for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. Some of the most iconic Harry Potter illustrations come from this.
Yeah.
The one thing I actually do really like about this chapter art though, is that there are like little, if you look very carefully at it, like little bubbles that are sort of like coming out of like the smoky mist. And I think that's a nice touch.
So that makes it look like this is it open underwater.
I think so. Yeah. I think it's it open underwater. So that's almost like the voice sort of like creating the gurgles.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk more about that. In any case, let's go ahead and jump into the chapter here. We'll start off with our lovely first sentence, as always. As Harry had no idea how long a bath he would need to work out the secret of the golden egg, he decided to do it at night when he would be able to take as much time as he wanted. And then the dragons arrived. It's always funny.
It's always funny. And the hilarious thing is that the actual thing that arrives might be worse than dragons.
Yeah, I know, right? Because, like, oh my gosh, it's a creepy ghost girl.
It's a creepy ghost girl who's going to be just exceedingly inappropriate for most of the chapter.
Yeah, when I say creepy, I don't mean like creepy like horror movie creepy. I mean creepy like, oh my God, stop looking at me.
Yeah. It's like you are currently invading my privacy in a way that I can't really do anything about.
I can't do anything about. Although apparently the Ministry of Magic can stop you from stalking people. How do I fill out that form now yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. It definitely seems like it. And it's funny too, because it's like, it sounds like Myrtle was capable of going anywhere while she was out doing her haunting. Like she's just following Olive Hornby around for as long as she can until she goes and submits this claim with the Ministry of Magic. And then she is forced to reside inside of her toilet.
And it's like, well, I'm not, and I got to that part and I was like, in what way are they able to enforce this?
In what way?
In what way?
It's a great question. The real question is whether or not it's the only place in the castle that Moaning Myrtle feels comfortable.
Well, sure.
You know, because it's like surely you don't have to stay in the bathroom.
I know, don't have to. I mean, clearly she doesn't have to because she is here in this other bathroom.
Exactly.
And sometimes she's in the lake when she gets flushed.
Yeah.
What uncomfortable information to receive as your Harry Potter who's like, oh, I've got to go under the lake. And she's like, sometimes I'm there when people flush me with their poo. Like, oh man.
It's like, wait a second. I have to go into the lake where all the sewage goes?
All of it.
I am not comfortable with the plumbing that Hogwarts seemingly wrangled together with their lack of muggle knowledge.
I know. Like, we used to just vanish it. Now we put it in the lake. Great.
That's why the giant squid is actually just a robot that we keep in there so the kids don't want to swim in the lake. And the reason you don't want to swim in the lake is because it's full of waste.
Full of waste.
Or ship, as we like to call it.
Oh man, we are off to a very good start today. That's for sure.
That is for sure.
Oh man. Anyway, Harry has decided to take Cedric up on his hint and even decided to use the prefix bathroom. It says far fewer people were allowed in there, so it was much less likely that he would be disturbed. Although I kind of disagree with him on this front because he's doing it at night, and it's like, how many people are heading out past curfew to take baths, you know? In any case.
In any case. So it's like, there's nothing special about the prefix bathroom in this particular scenario. Like, it's like all bathrooms, if you were to go to in the middle of the night, would probably be safe.
And to that end, I think prefects are allowed out at night, are they not, to patrol the court? If anywhere, this might be where someone would show up.
That's a good point. The bigger question that I had about this particular instance is just like, let's just say that you're one of so there's 8 prefix total. The Quidditch captains sometimes are also prefix, but that would add like a few more.
There's more than 8 prefix, right?
2 per house.
2 per house, but for 5, 6, and 7.
Do you think there are prefix for each year?
Well, they get, yeah. I think every time, like at all new 5th year, like when you get to 5th year, your class gets 2 prefix assigned.
You know,
and then the following year, you'd still be a prefect.
I have never considered that before.
Right?
Yeah, I've always just assumed that there were just 8 prefix.
Okay.
Maybe that does make sense. It seems like a lot of people would be prefix.
Well, I guess so. Then you'd have what, 3 times as many, 24?
Yeah.
You'd have 24 plus 4 Quidditch captains, assuming there was no overlap.
Right.
You'd be up to 28, and then you'd have head boy and head girl, whom we know don't have to be prefix.
Right.
So potentially you could have 30. There is a maximum number of 30 people who could have access to this bathroom.
Okay, so roughly like 10-ish% of the student populace,
I guess so,
are going in here. So here was my concern, was just sort of like, let's just say that you're Percy and Cedric, and for as grand as this bathroom seems, it's also like, what happens if you're Cedric and you walk in and Percy's in there swimming laps?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh hey man,
oh yeah, right.
I guess I'll just wait.
I didn't know you were in the giant tub tonight.
It's like,
didn't see it on the calendar there, Perce.
Yeah, we're supposed to take out slots in case you'd forgotten.
Yeah, I know. Because you know what? Like, I always imagine it because it's described as like a swimming pool with a diving board.
With a diving board.
And yet Harry is clearly completely naked in this like situation because he has something to hide from Myrtle.
Exactly.
Right,
Yes.
Right. So if you're a prefect, that means there are people going in there, stripping down completely, just hitting the diving board. This just is a giant pool, private pool, basically.
A giant private pool.
You know?
It's quite the perk.
This is quite the perk. For sure.
Now,
assuming you're the only one in there, unless all the prefects are just like, yeah, this is just part of the club, you know? We're all pretty open with each other around here.
It takes a little getting used to, but
yeah.
SAR everywhere.
What?
I said, but SAR everywhere.
I know, right? It sounds like I'm surprised there's not anyone in here right now. You know, you'd have access. Why not? You'd be here all the time.
That's the thing. Is at some point, Harry is going to describe the wonderful sensation of being able to like swim in hot and like foamy water, like sudsy water. And I'm like, what an unusually rare occurrence that actually is.
That I've never done that.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it would be like in any circumstance. It doesn't matter like however opulent like a resort you may be staying at is like, or like even like a hot spring or something. It's like you might technically have water you can swim in that is of this volume, but it probably then wouldn't be sudsy.
Probably isn't going to be sudsy. You're not going to have to have a bubble bath that big. Like it's just hard to keep the water hot.
It's hard to keep the water hot. Yeah. Although there must be some type of charm work going on because it seems like the whole tub fills up like unusually quickly.
It fills up very quickly with just like a few taps.
Yeah.
Like I was like saying, it's empty when he gets there and he turns on a few taps and it's like, even if you had like 20 taps, it would take like half a day, you know?
I think if you're filling, like just for like reference sake, I think if you're filling up like your backyard, your standard backyard swimming pool with like a hose, you would turn it on and let it fill for a day.
Right.
It would take forever.
Yeah. So clearly there is some magical shenanigans happening here. Also, the other thing about this particular thing, he's like so concerned about being caught, but like this absolutely seems like the sort of thing where if he just asked McGonagall, like, hey, can I use the prefect bathroom to like try and work out the egg? Like as champion, I feel like he should just be allowed this anyway.
It definitely seems like this would fall under the category of perks that would just come with being school champion, because realistically it would only be in any usual year where the circumstances aren't unusual like they are this year, where there are 2 champions, which is still not too many to grant the additional access to.
Yeah.
Like it seems like if you happen to not already be a prefect or head boy or Quidditch captain and you were selected as school champion, that you would just get access to the prefect's bathroom.
Right.
Like it seems like that would be on par at least with being Quidditch captain.
Absolutely. It's like, we're willing to let you fight dragons by yourself, but I'm afraid you cannot take a bath at night.
No.
That's a ridiculous request, Harry.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's like he should just take the cover off and be like, hey, Snape, I'm sorry, man. I was working on my clue. I was in the prefect's bathroom. Cedric gave me the password.
Yeah.
It's
throw him right under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I heard him say you were like a slimy guy or something. I don't know.
You take it up with him. Take
it up with him.
Yeah.
You know him, right? You've seen him.
Yeah. You know Cedric. Yeah. The really handsome one.
Yeah. He's that like tall, sort of good looking guy, almost as good looking as me, but not quite.
But not quite. But he does happen to be walking around all the time with like a really pretty girl. But like, you can kind of tell that she would have preferred to go with me.
Right.
To the Yule Ball.
Like if I'd asked her first, she would have said, you think she would have picked me, right? I think we're in agreement with that.
At this point in time, Snape's just looking at him like completely dumbfounded, like, Potter, shut up.
Shut up, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to expel you, Potter. That'd be so funny if you just talk. Yeah, that'd be a great conversation. Oh, man. Anyway, we're one paragraph in. We've got Ship in the Lake. We've got Harry doing naked laps in the bathtub.
Well, we haven't even gotten there yet.
That's the other weird thing is that he swims lengths, again, not wearing anything. What another situation that you're probably not going to have yourself.
That's true. What an unusually rare circumstance.
Yeah, you're not heading down to like your local YMCA and swimming some lengths,
in your nudie pants.
In your nudie pants. Oh man!
Oh, the parents who allow their kids to listen to this show were
this is not the episode.
Come on, guys. Not the mental images anybody was really hoping for.
This is what the book has brought us to.
Yes, it has. But in case you are wanting to feel invisible at this moment, not to worry, because Harry is at long last busting out his invisibility cloak along with his Marauder's map and the egg. So he's kind of got like a cool collection of like his magical accessories.
He sure does.
Now. He should have brought like his little little like toy dragon just to sort of like cap it off with the rest of the cool stuff.
Absolutely. Just have that like flying around. Like maybe it'd offer me some inspiration, you know?
Right. Yeah. Or maybe even like in his cloak, just like tucks in like the knife that Sirius gave him. You never know what's going to happen.
You know, maybe I got to unlock a door or something. I like to think he has it with him anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, and he didn't know the Pine Fresh password, that certainly would have worked. For
that seems like it would have worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it would have worked on Snape's magically sealed door?
I do.
I do too, because I think this is exactly what Umbridge does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Anyway, so let's see here. What do we got going on next?
Let's see. Well, I think it's crazy that this is the first time he's really got the Marauders map out this entire year. And I'm like, Harry, you got to be using that thing like way more often.
Definitely.
Like way more often.
Yes. If it's me, you probably just like leave it open on your bed every night. Like, just sort of like take a peek around, see what's going on, keep knowing what's what.
Exactly.
Especially when your name was mysteriously entered into a competition. It's
exactly.
Like if somebody's out there trying to kill you, it's like maybe look for them.
I mean, he literally finds them the first time he does it.
He does. Yeah. He zeroes in on exactly the person.
Exactly the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, but we're still jumping ahead of ourselves. But it's a Thursday night.
It's a Thursday night, which means it took him from Saturday when he visited Hagrid during the Hogsmeade visit to Thursday to come up with this ironclad plan to not get caught out of bed.
Right. And for the most part, for the first half of the evening, he actually does quite well.
The first half he does quite well, but I got to tell you, the second half he fumbles just about everything pretty miraculously.
Yeah, he literally fumbles the egg.
Yes, he literally fumbles it.
Yeah. So it's Thursday night. Harry sneaked up. He put on the cloak, crept back downstairs. So just as he had done the night that when Hagrid had shown him the dragons, waited for the portrait hole to open. This time it was Ron who waited outside to give the fat lady the password, which is banana fritters.
Banana fritters.
Banana fritters.
How long is Ron just sitting outside the portrait hole? Like, what's he doing out there? Because he's out there past the time, right?
Yeah, he must just be twiddling thumbs.
He's just out there. The fat lady staring at him like, say it. Say banana fritters. And he's like, no, not yet. Nope.
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
I will when I'm ready.
Oh, strawberry fritters? He's like, please say the password. Peach fritters? Just man, that'd be so funny.
Rod just trolling.
Just trolling the fat lady. What was it? Banana bread?
Oh my God. I can just picture her being so bad. But yeah, banana fritters, to which I was just like, wait, really?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Like, what has been our balderdash?
We had balderdash for 6 months, fairy lights for like half an hour, and now we're at banana fritters.
Banana fritters.
Yes. McGonagall, who is the one I have to imagine sets the passwords, has some interesting choices.
Maybe so. Maybe this was McGonagall trying to take a little leaf out of Dumbledore's book, and she's like, you know what? For once, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to have some whimsy.
I do. So it's like new headcanon is that McGonagall loves banana fritters.
She must.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
So Harry finds the statue of Boris the Bewildered, and I was like trying to look up, like, do we know what Boris the Bewildered is famous for? Because he does have a statue, and the answer is no, we don't. We don't know what he is famous for at all.
I mean, the fact that he's got bewildered in there almost like sort of matches a little bit with the fact that the statue is depicting is a lost looking wizard with his gloves on the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Which is a detail that you could probably tell me again next week, and I would continue to be like, I have never heard that information once in my life.
No, I know. I read that. I was like, that's an interesting one. First of all, it's really hard to get a glove on the wrong hand, much less twice, because on the second glove, your first hand will be in the first glove.
Yes. Yeah. So whoever is bewildering Boris maybe is doing this to him.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Although when I was looking this up, I found like an old quote from an interview that apparently all of the portraits in Hogwarts are of deceased people.
Oh.
Which I was like, well, I don't know. That like hurt our theory that it was Slughorn in the painting from earlier off the exit chamber, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like Slughorn could even be like an exception to this sort of rule because, it
feels like he would have like lobbied for it. Even
it does feel like that, doesn't it?
Because he places his importance in such an unusual kind of way, and the description otherwise just fits him just a little too well.
Yeah. It kind of does. But so anyway, Harry finally gets inside Pine Fresh, just as Cedric had told. It'd be so funny if the password had changed. Like, because since then, the Gryffindor password has indeed changed, but this one hasn't.
This one hasn't. It's a good point. And I do think it's kind of funny, too, because Harry is going to be convinced for pretty much the whole front half of the evening. For one, it took him forever to take Cedric's advice. Then he finally is like, you know what? Stomach your pride. Got to go and do it. And then the whole time he's there for like the first bit of it, he's like, Cedric's screwing with me. Yeah. That's it. He's definitely messing with me.
He's messing with me. I know. But like, what, like, Harry, he's trying to like dislike Cedric because of the Cho situation, but I keep trying to figure out what he thinks Cedric, what is the joke? How is he messing with you? Like, did you have a really lovely bath?
It's a cool room, isn't it?
It's a pretty cool room. Man, you're going to see a part of the castle you wouldn't get to normally see. Gotcha! Oh, burn, Potter!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I also love the idea that just like Cedric is canonically really bad at practical jokes. Like he's trying to pull jokes on people, but instead he's just being really nice. Like you won't believe it. I tried. Listen to how I got Potter last week. We're both champions. You know that, right? I'm the better one. But of course, I told him that he should take a bath with the egg, and then I let him go to the prefect's bathroom. It's amazing. And there's like a swimming pool. There's a diving board. And the water jumps off of itself. There's bubbles. Oh my god, he's gonna go have the best time.
Also, the way that you solve the egg is by putting it underwater, which you could easily do. And there's a painting of a mermaid in the room. So, you know, he probably figured it out.
He probably figured it out. Yeah. Man, what a laugh. What a laugh.
What a laugh. I do think this is funny because it does say the door creaked open. Harry slipped inside, bolted the door behind him. To which I'm like, does the door not lock itself if you don't bolt the door? Or is this like a situation where like, you know, you can like deadbolt something from the inside. And then like if somebody else walked up and was like, pine fresh, it would be like occupied.
Yeah. Oh man.
Maybe that's how you avoid any unpleasantness.
I suppose.
Of accidentally running in on somebody else.
I suppose so. That could be a thing.
Yeah.
That'd be awkward if that happened to him. Pine fresh, occupied.
It's like,
oh man,
didn't even occur to me that could happen.
Yeah.
I guess I'll sit here and wait like Ron was doing. Maybe think of different kinds of cobbler.
Yeah, right.
to pass the time.
Yeah. What else can I try here? What other air freshener, car air freshener could I suggest to this painting?
So because pine fresh is a car flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely a car flavor. That's like the classic, the tree, right?
Yeah. Okay, so then there's like, you know, like vanilla.
There's like vanilla. There's like dreamsicle.
Dreamsicle, good one, good one. Meadow, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we're also just listing like candle flavors,
right?
Too.
And they're always like, yeah, we'll throw in this air freshener. I'm like, please don't.
Don't do that.
I don't want it.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. His immediate reaction was that it would be worth becoming a prefect just be able to use this bathroom.
Yep.
I could see a world where next year when Ron gets his prefect badge, Harry, like his first thought is like, he's going to get to use the bathroom.
I know. Like, can you let me in? Can like I go to the... Can you make sure you'll tell me the password to like the prefect's bathroom?
You know Ron is going to be all about this bathroom.
You know that he is all about it, and then he's definitely not telling Harry. He's like, nope, this one's just for me.
This one's for me.
This one's for me.
He gets to be the chosen one. I get to
earned this.
Yes.
Because Harry's too busy doing other things, which Dumbledore just straight up tells Harry, is like, yes, I would have picked you, but like, you had some others. It seemed like you had quite enough to be getting on with.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So your friend Ronald, I threw him a bone.
You know, good old Ronald over there. So Harry enjoys checking it out. There's different colored jewels on the handles, the diving board, long white linen curtains hung around the windows, and a large pile of fluffy white towels sat in a corner, which makes it, the way that's described makes it sound like the towels in the regular bathroom are not like particularly nice.
Thin and scratchy
towels. Yeah. You non-prefects, enjoy your like ugly towels over here.
They're like those like brown paper towels that were like in every school bathroom ever that like are like completely non-absorbent.
Oh, the ones to like dry your hands.
Yeah.
But they don't.
They're like that, but like beach towel size.
But like beach towel size. Yeah, that's exactly. That's what they get in the Gryffindor bathrooms.
Right.
Yeah, which we never hear about. You know there are bathrooms, but like where do they shower? You know?
Or like, let's just say you're Cedric and you wake up in the middle of the night and you gotta like, you know, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, is he like, oh man,
I got to go all the way up to the Boris the Bewildered statue to
like, sure, the toilet seat's heated, but
my goodness.
It's a jaunt.
You get up there, occupied. Who's taking a giant bathtub swimming pool bath of this hour?
Flint.
Yeah, it's Flint. You think he's a prefect? He's his captain. Yeah, that'd be. It's definitely Flint, the not prefect, who just also has access to the bathroom, who's using it way too often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Taking what do you think the line for this bathroom is like in the morning?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there are aspects of this that just don't make sense.
Yeah,
like it almost seems like you'd like walk in and there'd be like a door going in like multiple different directions or something, so you could like choose like what you needed out of like your particular bathroom.
It does, yeah. Or like there could be several doors, and behind each of them was basically the same situation, but like private.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Like a mini room of requirement situation going on here.
Absolutely.
In which case, man, being a prefect is way better.
I would absolutely. If I knew that this was on the table, I'd be like, I'm 100%.
I am in.
Yes. Yes.
This alone. You would like graduate and be like, I'm never going to have a bathroom that nice again ever.
I know that was like a 3-year thing.
That was it. Yeah.
That's kind of sad to think about.
I know. Wow. Yeah. That's in your
like
school bathroom.
My best days are behind me.
My best days are behind. Doesn't even like note any toilets in here. You know,
no, none whatsoever.
It's just the swimming pool.
Although, however Myrtle got here, surely was through some type of.
Well, there's pipes. There's a bazillion faucets. You know,
there's pipes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's got portals.
She's got portals. Anyway, so he gets up there. And sure enough, he starts wondering, like, is Cedric having me on here? Is he having a good old practical joke, that old Cedric Diggory? I don't see how on earth this is supposed to help. But he's plays around with all the taps. I love the description of the different taps. The pink and blue bubbles coming out of one, the ice white foam that you can like rest on, the water that jumps across itself. Also fun.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that doesn't like just make the wizarding world sound so absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like this is really like just peak magical existence as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. This is doing magic right.
Yeah, this is doing magic right. Yeah. So Harry turned off all the taps, pulled off his pajamas, slippers, dressing gown. Wow. Pulled off his pajamas, slippers, and dressing gown. Okay, so
he wears a gown to sleep in.
Yeah, naturally.
Got it.
And slid into the water. It was so deep that his feet barely touched the bottom, and he actually did a couple of links before swimming back to the side and treading water, staring at the egg.
Yeah.
Everything about this sounds like so much fun.
It does. Also, can't help but notice, I think I mentioned last week, I've been training for a triathlon for couple of months here, which was this past weekend and went really well. Thanks for asking.
Seriously,
guys, listeners. Okay,
was that my fault? Was I supposed to be like, hey, how was it?
No, absolutely not. Okay. But I can't help but notice. I was like, hey, guess what? Harry kind of training for a try as well. You know,
that's true.
The Triwizard Tournament.
Yeah, you guys have so much in common.
We have so much in common.
we should get you a shirt for tour that says "Big Chosen One Energy."
That would be a great shirt.
That would be a good one.
Big Chosen One Energy.
He's got Big Chosen One Energy.
But I am the chosen one.
Harry stretched out his arms, lifted the egg in his wet hands and opened it. The wailing, screeching sound filled the bathroom, echoing and reverberating off the marble walls, but it sounded just as incomprehensible as ever, if not more so with all the echoes. Mm-hmm. He snapped it shut again, worried that the sound would attract Filch, wondering whether or not that hadn't been Cedric's plan, and then making him jump so badly that he dropped the egg, which clattered away across the bathroom floor. Someone spoke.
It's too bad he didn't just drop it in the water.
It's too bad, yes. It's almost shocking that he dropped it anywhere but in the water.
I know, right?
Based on what's been going on here.
Because what he's basically doing here, because he can't touch the bottom, is he's holding himself up with his elbows on the side of the pool and like holding the heavy egg in front of him with just his forearms and like, it's like screaming at him.
Right.
And then Myrtle's like, you should put it in the water. He's like, and he drops it and it like fumbles away.
Yeah. So the voice that is literally talking to him is suggesting doing the thing that he accidentally doesn't do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes. If only. But Harry finally figures out that what Cedric meant was open it into the water. That's why the bath part of it's important.
That's right.
Yeah. He's being pretty thick here. For sure, but let's see. Then Myrtle starts getting all flirty with him.
Yep.
So the foam was so dense that this hardly mattered, but he had a nasty feeling Myrtle had been spying on him from out of one of the taps ever since he had arrived, which is just like gross.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was like,
how is this okay?
It's pretty uncomfortable, to be fair.
Pretty inappropriate.
I closed my eyes when you got in, she said, blinking at him through her thick spectacles. You haven't come to see me for ages. Yeah. Well, said Harry, bending his knees ever so slightly so that Myrtle couldn't see anything but his head. I'm not supposed to come into your bathroom, am I? It's a girl's one.
Yeah.
You didn't used to care, said Myrtle miserably. You used to be in there all the time.
Which she did not seem happy about.
Yeah, it's like. Do you remember those years? Because you were always all up in our face.
You were pretty upset about it. 50 points if you get it through her head.
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff. But then we get like a little just recap of why Harry happened to be in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. It's to make polyjuice potion. And this whole paragraph is just a big reminder to you, the reader, about what polyjuice potion is, because it hasn't been relevant for 2 books, but it's super relevant right now. And you need to be remembering it because it's happening now
it's
in
happening.
This chapter and throughout the whole book. And this is it. This is one of those things when you're reading books like this. So it's like, oh yeah, I got this reminder for a reason. Yeah.
Yes. This is literally just the book straight. It's not Myrtle winking at Harry. It's the book winking at you.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's so once you know and you're like, oh my gosh, we're talking about polyjuice potion in the same chapter where Harry's going to see Bartemius Crouch on the map where he is scouring Snape's stores for polyjuice supplies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's all right there. It's right in front of our
all right there.
faces. But yeah, so then Harry is trying to come up with a good excuse for not going back and visiting. It says, I got told off for going in there, said Harry, which was half true. It's like, Harry, it's okay for this to be half true.
It's okay for you to just lie.
It doesn't have to be whole true at all.
In fact, you could just be true and be like, I don't want to see you.
Also, yes, exactly. But then anyway, Myrtle does chime in with a little bit more advice. Anyway, I tried the egg in the water. That's what Cedric Diggory did. And then Harry's like, have you been spying on him too? What do you do? Just sneak up here in the evenings and watch Prefix takes baths?
Sometimes.
It's like, no, Myrtle.
No, yeah. She said rather slyly, like, yes, that is what she's doing.
Yeah. But I've never
dear.
come out to speak to anyone before. It's like, well, Harry is the chosen one. So
Yeah, it's true. I'm honored, he said darkly.
You keep your eyes shut.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Harry.
Yeah.
And then she is just like totally like, I don't know what Harry was going to do though if Myrtle wasn't here, because he doesn't seem capable of figuring this out at all. You know, like you open it underwater and you have to go underwater. Okay, there we go.
Easy does it now. Yep. Harry lowered the egg beneath the foamy surface and opened it. And this time it did not wail. A gurgling song was coming out of it. So that's the bubbles from our chapter art.
That's the bubbles. Yeah, right
yeah.
there. Gurgling song.
Right. Let's see here. You need to put your head under too, said Myrtle, who seemed to be thoroughly enjoying bossing him around. Go on. And then Harry takes a deep breath, goes underwater, and finally hears the song, which goes, come seek us where our voices sound. We cannot sing above the ground. And while you're searching, ponder this. We've taken what you'll sorely miss. An hour long you'll have to look and to recover what we took. But past an hour, the prospect's black. Too late, it's gone. It won't come back.
Boom. Yeah, so that's them setting up the riddle for the second task. That's from the Mer people, which is interesting to me that like above the water, it's incomprehensible, but under the water, it's in like perfect English.
It's a good point.
It's
a good point. There must be like some type of like Google Translate type situation going on.
Yeah, right.
Like because surely they don't speak. Well, I'm trying to think here. How would that go? I mean, I guess he talks to the Mer people underwater.
They talk to him, but he like can't talk back.
But he can hear them.
He can hear them.
Yeah, and every time he tries to talk, it just makes like a big bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly what happens. Excuse me.
It's okay. What is also interesting here is that it definitely is using like words like it's gone, it won't come back, suggesting that it would be like an item, not a person.
Right. Yeah.
Who's going to be taken from him.
Yeah. An hour long, you have to look to recover what we took, not who we took, and too late, it's gone, not they're gone.
Right.
They won't come back. Those all would have been more helpful, I suppose, but maybe they don't want the champions realizing it's going to be people.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That probably, even with that particular note in mind, I bet it's that much more shocking when you get down there and you're like, whoa, it's my best friend.
Yeah. And Ron's here too.
Is that a Hermione joke?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Harry just takes Hermione and leaves Ron. Crumb's down there like,
Guess I'm taking this guy.
This guy, I guess just save anybody? I don't know.
Right. Crumb doesn't get the assignment at all.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, does someone just leave Ron? And he just takes like Gabrielle. It's like, take the innocent girl, I guess.
Yeah, Fleur doesn't get down there. It's like, Crumb's down there. It's like, should I save the little girl or the boy? I guess I saved the girl, right? That has to be the test. Okay, yeah, all right. And then Ron's just down there because Fleur got caught by the Grindylows. Yeah. That'd be so funny. Oh, man. Anyway, Harry comes back and he's trying to remember and he says, yeah, come seek us where our voices sound. And if I need persuading, which actually is not in the rhyme at all.
I was like, I had to read that like 10 times and I was like, I'm missing it. I'm surely missing it.
Like it says persuading, right? Nope.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Hang on. I need to listen again.
Yep.
So he sinks back underwater 3 more times. Then he has the entire story memorized.
I know. I'm like, every time I read that, it says memorized. I'm like, write it down, man.
Yeah. Right. There has to be a better way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he's thinking out loud. I've got to go and look for people who can't use their voices above ground, he said slowly. Who could that be? So whole montage of inbound.
Oh, absolutely.
Just as a heads up for those of you who are keeping track of the
counter.
The counter. Yeah. Slow, aren't you? He hadn't seen Moaning Myrtle so cheerful apart from the day that when Hermione got hit with the Polyjuice potion and turned into a cat.
A cat.
Yeah.
Through the Griffin Door is sponsored by Pear Eyewear. All right, you guys, you know what's hilarious? Comedy. Almost too literal of an answer, but it is true. I remember when we did our very first live show in Boston and we had no idea that you guys found this show funny until we started doing it and people started laughing. I actually think it changed our entire perspective about the show, and we're having more fun than ever now. And a little tweak to your perspective is sometimes all it takes, and that is where Pear Eyewear steps in. Here's how it works. Pear offers a wide selection of base frames, which look awesome. That's what I'm wearing right now. But if you ever feel a little bit more whimsy or upbeat or want to show off your fandom side, Pear makes it super easy by offering an even greater selection of toppers. And watch this, just like that, boom, snap right on top of your frames. One simple movement and you've changed your entire vibe. And they've collabed with so many different brands. Like we're talking Harry Potter. I'm wearing Slytherin right now. There's Disney's Mickey and Friends. There's Marvel. Like, look, I've got X-Men ones right here. And this is my new favorite one. It's the Boston Celtics. Boom. So, I'm staying up late watching the game with my wife. And I'm like, man, I'm having the best time. And she's like, I'm so bored. And I was like, I was definitely not thinking the exact opposite at this exact moment. Whatever, it's fine. We're in overtime. Oh my gosh, Jason Tatum, yeah! Anyway, though, frames start at just $25 plus they're HSA and FSA approved. So find a new angle to see things from. Go to paireyewear.com and use code Griffin for 15% off your first pair. And it would really help us out and support the show if when you're filling out your post-checkout survey, you can mention us through the Griffin Door. So again, that's paireyewear.com, code Griffin, link in the description and the show notes and all that down below. But if their voices could only be heard underwater, then it made sense for them to belong to underwater creatures. And so he runs this past Myrtle. So I love how it was now like he was upset, but now he's just like, Myrtle, what do you think of this?
Yeah,
they live underwater, excuse me.
Right. And she's like, well, that's what Diggory thought too, she said. And it's like, because it's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like,
right. Why don't you just say, yup?
Yes, that's it. But it's even kind of funny because, it's like, if you're imagining Cedric down there, it's like, it says that he waited, he thought about it for ages and ages. Nearly all the bubbles had gone.
I know.
And it's sort of like, it doesn't, especially with the fact that there is a mermaid painting in the prefix bathroom, I am slightly surprised it takes this long.
It does. I know. It is surprising that it takes this long at all for either of them to get there. But Harry confirms that there are mer people down there, and Myrtle confirms that she's been down there. Sometimes I don't have any choice. If someone flushes my toilet when I'm not expecting it, which, like, great. Great. Thank you for that.
Yep. Good visual. Trying not to think about moaning Myrtle zooming down a pipe to the lake with the contents of a toilet.
Yeah,
Harry said,
exactly.
well, does anything in there have a human voice? Hang on. Harry's eyes had fallen on the picture of the snoozing mermaid on the wall. Myrtle, there aren't mer people in there, are there?
Ooh, very good. Her thick glasses were twinkling. It took Diggory much longer than that, and that was with her awake too. So Myrtle does not like the mermaid drawing. I guess she feels like jealous that the mermaid is prettier than her.
Maybe so.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, although at this point in time, Harry's got to be sizing himself up a little bit too. He's like, okay, so Cedric got the mermaid and I got you.
Right.
This is working out well.
Well, she was there too.
She was there too, but she didn't reveal herself to him.
Yeah.
No flattery for old Cedric.
Right.
Maybe it was because of the jealousy thing.
Maybe. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just try not to think about it too hard for the folks at home.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So then we get to hear that he's like excited that he figured it out, but then realizes what he's figured out, that, oh my gosh, how am I gonna, swim in the lake? I'm not a very good swimmer. We get a nice little pass at the Dursleys, who did not give Harry swim lessons. Harry reasons because he thinks one day maybe he would drown without swim lessons, which sadly might be true.
Yeah, and unfortunately by doing the thing that they think is the worst, which is by being a wizard. So they actually got it somewhat close to, I guess, their wish.
Almost.
Harry only barely figures it out and actually doesn't figure it out on his own at all. So, and then, Harry then asks Myrtle, how am I supposed to breathe?
Yeah.
And at this point in time, he completely offends moaning Myrtle, forgetting about the fact that she can't breathe because she is dead.
Because she's dead. Which is a bummer because, Myrtle is otherwise answered basically every question and told him how to do the rest of it.
Right.
But now at the mention of breathing, when I don't know if she could have offered a genuine solution or not, she just loses it. And she's like, tactless. Right. Nobody understands. And then you get a little background. It says, nobody missed me even when I was alive. Took them hours to find my body. I know. I was sitting there waiting for them. Poor Myrtle.
That's rough to imagine, immediately coming back as a ghost with your unfinished business of feeling so overlooked and bullied by Olive Hornsby, only for Olive Hornsby to be the one who is assigned looking for her.
I know.
And also it takes them a long time to find her.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this isn't exactly what I had hoped for.
Yeah.
But then, of course,
it feels like Myrtle died and she was almost excited to see how people would react. Oh my God, people are going to have to pay attention to me now. And then it's still no one did.
Yes.
It just took them a while.
She definitely had that, I can't wait to hear what people say about me at my funeral.
Yes.
And it's it's a weird take, but okay.
Yeah. She definitely got home, from a weekend where she forgot her phone. Was like, can't wait to check all my text messages to see all the ones I got. And there was nothing. No new messages. No new messages. No.
Well, that hurts.
Well, time to haunt Olive Hornby.
That's right.
Yep. And this is still baffles me though. Olive comes in and, she says she saw her body. Ooh, she didn't forget it until her dying day. I made sure of that. Followed her around, reminded her I did. I remember at her brother's wedding.
It's oh boy.
Yeah.
What happened at her brother's wedding? That's the story we need more of.
We do.
Is there anybody who we know gets buried somewhere along the way? Like some type of stray,
Oh yeah. I guess her brother. So Olive Hornby's brother would also be a Hornby.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know if we know of any of the rest of the Hornby family.
Right. That would be kind of an interesting one though to see, because it's such an interesting little piece of information to not have more of that story. But
yeah.
Anyway,
Myrtle haunts Olive Hornby for making fun of her glasses and then for taking a while to discover her, or I guess potentially teasing her, assuming she's still alive at first, and haunts her for the rest of her life until the ministry says she can't. But again, doesn't think that it's worth haunting Tom Riddle for actually killing her.
Right, exactly. Or making a ridiculously big fuss about the absolutely gigantic snake that
killed her.
And I guess she just says she dies. All she remembers is a pair of great big yellow eyes or whatever. So maybe she didn't actually see the snake, but it's also bring the yellow eyes up to anyone.
To bring them up, yeah.
Yeah.
Something killed you. You don't seem that concerned with that.
Right. Although, God, can you imagine too, though, it's nobody is exactly their best while they are a high school aged student.
Yeah.
And can you imagine just like being Olive and it's sort of like, yeah, I was mean to this girl when we were like 14 and now I'm like 67 and she's been haunting me for 53 years.
Yeah.
So
I was like, I'm here.
It's like,
I can hear you talking about me.
It's like Myrtle at some point in time, you might have become the bully in this situation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The tide might have turned a little bit.
Yep.
Although I guess it couldn't have been 53 years because it was 50 years since the Chamber of Secrets was opened. And
yeah. So 52 years.
Right. Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what we got next.
So let's see. Harry is trying to figure out what he's going to do. He gets dressed, decides he's going to leave Myrtle, and Myrtle's like, can you come? You'll come visit me again, right? And he's like, I'll try, which is a definite no.
Right. But he does say, see you, Myrtle. Thanks for your help.
Yeah.
So he, at least he's gracious.
He's gracious. Thank you. You know,
Yeah.
I got there.
Right. So then he's back out in the hallway. He's under the invisibility cloak. He's got the Marauders map out. He's checking to see if the coast is clear. And yes, the dots belonging to Filch and his cat, Mrs. Norris, were safely in their office. Nothing else seemed to be moving apart from Peeves.
Does that mean Filch sleeps in his office or is just awake in his office right now?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Good question. I mean, technically, he's not a person.
He's a poltergeist.
He's a poltergeist.
Clearly.
Yeah. Speaking of poltergeist, we do see that once again, Peeves is bouncing around in the trophy room, which is a place that we frequently see Peeves hanging out.
Yeah.
So for some reason, like I wonder if it's like the associated like excitement or good nature or playfulness that maybe comes from receiving a trophy doesn't like fuel Peeves as like a poltergeist a little bit. It's like maybe a little bit of like misbehaving. Like after Cedric and Harry are both made champions, like Dumbledore makes the line. He's like, I'm sure the members of Gryffindor and Hufflepuff are looking for a good excuse to make an unusual amount of mess.
Right.
It's like those seem like the kind of things that would be creating Peeves.
Yeah, right. Like you have your like when they win the Quidditch Cup, they go up and they like party all night and are just like making a big mess and stuff. But
Exactly.
they've got a trophy.
Yes. Yeah. So
The trophies are the trophies are imbued with like magical misbehavior or something.
Yes. Exactly. Like otherwise, why would he hang out?
It's like where he goes to recharge. You know.
Everybody needs that spot.
Everyone needs a spot. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Poltergeists are he's his introvert is what it is.
Right.
You know, he never leaves the castle.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He just stays inside all the time.
Yeah.
But then he realizes that Peeves was not the only thing that moving, and a single dot was flitting around the room in the bottom left-hand corner, Snape's office. But the dot wasn't labeled Severus Snape. It was Bartemius Crouch.
Boy, I mean, the absolute luck that his name is literally the same as his dad's and that the map doesn't pick up on the junior.
I know.
I mean, he dodges 2 bullets quite swiftly here.
It is. And the thing is, I don't even know. I was going to say the thing is you could possibly have gotten away with just letting it say junior and being like maybe you just be like, oh, maybe Barty Crouch is a junior. Yeah. Like maybe you wouldn't know, but I think it comes up later that Barty Crouch Jr.'s full name is used inside of the pensive when Harry goes inside of it. Harry stares at the dot. Mr. Crouch was supposed to be too ill to come to the Yule Ball. What was he doing sneaking into Hogwarts at 1:00 in the morning? Harry watched closely as the dot moved around the room, pausing here and there.
Which is interesting too, because it's like we know that it's actually, that it's Barty Crouch Jr. as Moody, like, looking for the boomslang skin and the lacewing flies and all that. And it I think he's done it before, right? So like but he seems to be looking all around the room for whatever it needs.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's kind of like bouncing around a little bit, like maybe like collecting all of the materials. It sounds like I sort of read it as if he's kind of like hastily doing this, like as if you were to watch it in real time, like he'd be like shuffling from like shelf to shelf, like, pulling bottles out and like looking for whatever.
Seems like the sort of thing you could use your eye to like locate before you went in.
It does seem that way. But it's also, it does seem that way. It's a good point because you could just see through the wall and just literally look for everything that he needs.
Yeah.
But I do think that he also used the occasion when he was like investigating, as he's going to tell Snape, his office upon arriving at the school. I think he was definitely doing the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah. But then it's kind of like one of these classic Harry moments where it's like he's sort of like in a situation where it's like the coast is clear. All is well. Like whatever the heck is going on over there probably has nothing to do with me. And yet Harry just being who Harry is, he's sort of like, Gotta go check it out.
Gotta go check it out. Well, because like Barty Crouch is one of the like the red herrings in this book as like who put his name in the Goblet of Fire.
Right.
And like more like even in the last chapter, Ludo Bagman was like, oh yeah, the goblins are looking for Barty Crouch,
Right.
Yeah.
It's very top of mind for you, the reader, at the moment.
Yeah.
So he needs to know what Crouch was up to. So just kind of classic Harry move there. It says that it walked down the stairs as quietly as possible, though the faces in some of the portraits still turn curiously at the squeak of a floorboard, to which I was like, I don't think that castles have floorboards.
Yeah, right.
It's probably like a stone floor.
Yeah, probably.
Most likely. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with these creaky floorboards.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there either. That's a really good point.
They don't wholly seem necessary at all.
I guess maybe the stairs are wooden.
Could be. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
He kept glancing down at the map, wondering. It didn't seem in character somehow for the correct law-abiding Mr. Crouch to be sneaking around somebody else's office this late at night, which is totally a good point.
It is a good point. And it's just like, we always bring it up. It's like, they are good instincts. It's just like Harry has immediately figured out, it's like, it doesn't make sense even if you don't have much context, but like he knows enough about the people involved that he's like, this is really weird and out of character for this person on the best of days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then because he's so sort of like entranced with whatever's going on in Snape's office, he's not paying attention and his leg suddenly sinks through the trick step that Neville always seemed to forget to jump.
Oh my gosh. What an important moment here because if Harry doesn't step in this one step right here, then he would just go figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Like he would get down there and he'd be looking at the map and he'd look up and he'd see Moody and he'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yep. And then you have to go back to Sirius in the Shrieking Shack being like, or is it Lupin who says like, the map never lies.
The map never lies. And like Moody would clearly see him under the cloak as well.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, sorry, Professor, just working out my egg.
Yeah.
And that pretty much be that.
Yeah. The chances are he doesn't tell him he just saw him on the map.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think that would happen. Either way though, Harry, he gets stuck in the stairs and then he just literally drops everything.
I know.
The egg falls down the stairs, the cloak slips off himself and the Marauder's map flutters out of hand. So he is suddenly just like, he has like several layers of protection. They're all gone.
Right.
Yep.
So the golden egg fell through the tapestry at the bottom of the staircase, which I always think is kind of interesting. It's like, I wonder if this is for like draftiness in a castle or something, but I always picture it so open air, not as if there would be these like partitions at the end of it. Oh yeah. But if it's saying there's a tapestry, it almost means there's like a piece of fabric, I think, that would separate the staircase from
from
whatever
like the next
corridor.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're right.
Right. So that's kind of a weird one. But then, of course, the egg pops open and starts wailing loudly in the corridor below, which is just absolute worst case scenario for Harry. So he pulls the cloak back over himself, straightened up, listening hard with his eyes screwed up with fear. And almost immediately, you hear Filch yelling, "Peeves!"
Right.
Yeah,
he's there so fast out of apparently a dead sleep, Out
of apparently a dead sleep.
Because he's not a real person.
That's exactly right. Yeah. What's this racket? Wake up the whole castle, you will. I'll have you, Peeves. I'll have you. And what is this? And so it's like, it is also kind of funny that like they quickly jump to the conclusion that Peeves clearly stole the egg and that it's not just one of the four champions out in the middle of the night.
I know. Yeah. That's like a little redeeming for Filch, I guess. Like he doesn't immediately assume that it's like Harry.
Right.
Like out in the middle of the night. Although like if he had assumed it one of the students, like he might then have to assume that it like there's a 50% chance he assumes it's Cedric, in which case it's like, well, whatever.
He's a prefect.
Then he's just a prefect. He can just be out. So like, I guess it probably makes the most sense to him. Obviously it makes the most sense to him in this moment that Peeves stole the egg and is just having a ball with it.
Right.
Yeah.
The other giant liability though that Harry has going for himself in this particular moment though is that because he dropped the Marauder's map and because it was still open and the invisibility cloak doesn't hide you from the map, it means that if anybody walks up and picks it up, what they're going to see is Harry standing in this exact spot.
A little bit, but this is like even after Crouch picks it up, like he like looks at it for a while and he's like, what is this? And then he'll ask him like, did you see who was breaking into Snape's office? Like double checking that Harry didn't see him. And he's like, I did. It was Barty Crouch. And he's like, wait, what? And he like scoots around he has to like really search around really fast to like locate where they are.
Oh yeah.
So like like, because it's one of the, I think for Harry, it's like he knows how the map works. So he knows exactly what to look for and what he's looking at.
Right.
But I think if Filch picks it up, he's not immediately going to be like, oh, I understand.
That's true. That's true. Like it wouldn't immediately read as just sort of like, I bet Harry Potter is directly in front of me right now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have to do a little triangulation. So let's see here. So then Filch continues to look a little bit more for Peeves. And he's like, Dumbledore, have you out of here for this, you filthy pilfering poltergeist, which I don't think is true. They tried to banish Peeves once upon a time and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't, as much as Filch thinks he's got him like dead to rights in the situation, I don't think he does.
Yeah. Even if this was exactly true and what was happening, I don't think it would matter.
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because I think Dumbledore has a soft spot for Peeves and like what he represents in the castle. And it's something that like he seems to kind of quietly promote. So yeah, I don't think that Filch is right about that. We do get a description of Mrs. Norris, who is a dust-colored cat, which maybe that description has been used before, but I was like, dust-colored? I'm like, that's kind of a...
What a flattering color.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Kind of like
dusty, musty.
Like not gray or brown, just dust.
Just dust, you know?
Yeah, it also says Mrs. Norris's lamp-like eyes, so very like her master's. I think that's because they are one and the same.
Yeah, lamp-like eyes. Like, what do you mean? That's so very like her master's. Does that mean Filch has lamp-like eyes?
Must be.
Because does that mean he has eyes that look like a cat's eyes? Because cat's eyes don't really look like human eyes.
Not so much. They would actually probably look really cool.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're like, whoa, Filch.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever told you like you have truly interesting eyes?
Truly interesting yellow eyes.
Yeah. And then he'd be like, thumb screws. And you're like,
okay, don't make it weird.
It's a strange response to what I just said, but whatever. We're going to move right on past it.
Then Harry has to wonder whether or not the cloak works on cats and can Mrs. Norris see through it. We don't really have a very good answer as to whether or not she can or cannot.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how Luna is able to see like the rack spurts like coming out of it's technically in the movie, so it's maybe not as much of a canon incident, but at the very least in the movies Luna is able to see the rack spurts coming out of the invisibility cloak, which maybe is more just like, you know, all of the like all the perfume just coming off of him from the bathtub. It's like that's not being hidden, which
is she seeing him or just like smelling like there's something really smelly right there.
Right there. Yeah. That's pretty much what I would zero in on, is that the cloak doesn't stop you from that. But otherwise I absolutely think that the Deathly Hallow invisibility cloak blocks you from cats.
I would think so too.
Yeah,
absolutely. So then Snape decides he's going to show up on this situation wearing his long gray night shirt, which I think is just a funny image.
It is. It's like in my head, I know it says he's wearing that, but in my mind, I continue to picture him like in black robes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, but like what he is wearing is like a giant oversized shirt.
Yeah, that's what he's wearing right here.
And it says long and gray. And then you kind of get that description in Order of the Phoenix where he's like hoisted up and his like, you know, like graying underpants are visible, which is actually, it's not funny to laugh at because it's just sort of a terrible scene. But it does make you wonder if it's like, is it like gray by choice or is it kind of like a graying material?
Graying material, yeah.
Yeah.
Just sort of filthy.
Right. Yeah. It's Peeves, Professor, Filch whispered malevolently. He threw this egg down the stairs. To which Snape is like, Potter's definitely here.
No, not yet.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's good.
He hasn't quite put it together, which is kind of surprising because he must know that the egg is either Cedric's or Harry's.
Right.
But right now, he's just stumbled into the situation and it's like Filch, loud noises, and he's being told Peeves.
Exactly.
But then he's also seen that someone broke into his office. So, which even that you'd think like, oh, Harry, it's definitely Harry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. But it is funny because you have a little bit of this like who's on first like situation going on here where Snape is like Peeves, but Peeves couldn't get into my office. This egg was in your office, Professor. Of course not, Snape snapped. I heard banging and wailing. Yes, Professor, that was the egg. I was coming to investigate. Peeves threw it, Professor. And when I passed my office, and it's just like, it's like they're clearly having this like back and forth where it's like, I was coming out to do this thing. I was here for this thing. What are you here for? What are you here for?
Right. The egg. Peeves. Noise. The egg.
Yeah. What?
Huh? First base.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I saw the torches were lit and a cupboard door was ajar. Somebody has been searching it. But Peeves couldn't. I know he couldn't. Filch Snape snapped again. I sealed my office with a spell none but a wizard could break.
Or a knife.
Or a knife. And I'm like, Alohomora? Maybe?
Yeah.
Like,
Alohomora, right? Yeah.
That's like, would that do it?
How sealed are we, Snape? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Also, it's like that's interesting too that like you can seal it such that Peeves couldn't get in there because he can just like go through walls and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So does he like seal like the walls around the entire office?
He must.
He must.
That's all I can figure. Yeah.
But then you'd almost think that like if that's possible, Dumbledore could at least throw Filch some bones here and be like, yeah, okay, well, let's just keep him out of some certain spots.
You know, Jay, I'm almost certain that Dumbledore could throw Filch some bones.
That's true. You're right.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, you know what? Because you're right, though. He seems way more on Peeves' side of things.
Yes. My word of advice, Filch, have a drink with Dumbledore.
Have a drink, you know?
Yes, that will win him over.
That's all he wants. That's all he wants.
That's all he wants in life. Yeah, just for someone to have a drink with him.
Having a drink.
Let's see here. Yeah. So then Snape is basically like, "You're going to help me find the intruder, Filch." And then Filch is like, but Peeves. And
Peeves.
he's like, "Filch, I don't care about that wretched poltergeist. It's my office." That's clunk, clunk, clunk. And it's like, oh man. Someone else is entering the scene.
He so quickly puts it all together and just like worms his way through this entire situation. This conversation he's going to have with Snape is like so impressive on his part.
It really is. It's like the cunning nature of Barty Crouch Jr. It's like, I mean, it's true pretty much every time you hear Moody talk. It's like everything he says has so many different meanings.
Yeah.
But this is the masterclass for sure.
Yeah. Pajama party, is it?
I wrote, how fun.
How fun. I know. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Filch is trying to get back on Filch is trying to get back on the case of Peeves.
Yeah.
And Snape is like, shut up.
Shut up. I know. Like, don't tell him someone broke into my office.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to look into it.
Right. But then, of course, Harry is starting to realize in real time that Moody uniquely is capable of seeing the whole scene in its entirety and all of its weirdness.
Yeah.
Because Moody could see through the invisibility cloak. He could see that Snape was in his nightshirt, Filch clutching the egg, and Harry, trapped in the stairs behind them.
Yep.
So it's sort of like, what is going on
like,
here?
oh, well, what have I stumbled in here? Yeah. But he has overheard at least some of it. And he said, like, he immediately starts covering his own track saying, someone broke into your office. And it's just like, yeah. So now you immediately don't think it was him, even though clearly Harry just looked at the map and was like, there's only one other person moving, Barty Crouch. Here's the one other person who wasn't moving before.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's right there.
I know. That's the thing. If you had the book up till this chapter and it was going to be like a week until the next one came out, you could almost piece together and be like, Harry didn't see Moody out in the middle of the night. What's he doing showing up out of nowhere?
Yeah, why is he there? I mean, the egg is the answer.
Right.
Is that it was loud and it woke him up. It like gives you a reason for that to not be true.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes, of course.
Yep.
Let's see here. Yep. So who'd want to break into your office?
And then, not me, that's for sure.
Right. Snape immediately jumps to the conclusion, a student, I dare say. Students attempting illicit mixtures, no doubt. It's like, wow, Snape.
Yeah.
You went to a lot of parties, didn't you?
Yeah.
But let's see here. Reckon they were after potion ingredients, eh? Said Moody. Not hiding anything else in your office, are you?
Reckon they were after potion ingredients. It's exactly what they were after.
Yeah, they being him.
Yeah.
But he also turns it on Snape, which is just, it's a stroke of brilliance.
Yeah.
Just to immediately be like, Snape, are you hiding anything in there that you shouldn't have? And then of course Snape is like, you know I'm not hiding anything, Moody, as you've searched my office pretty thoroughly yourself, which again is going to be like one of these situations where it's like, no doubt Moody was using this opportunity to steal his first batch of stuff in the first place.
Yeah. Aura's privilege, Snape. Dumbledore told me to keep an eye. This is absolutely a lie.
It is. And it's shocking to me that this is the kind of thing that Snape doesn't like maybe it's pride, but the fact that Snape isn't just going up to Dumbledore being like, Dumbledore, did you give Moody permission to search my office? Like,
right.
He trusts the situation enough to believe, like, maybe this is even like low self-esteem on Snape's part. He's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Right.
That he would have Moody show up and search my office, given my, prior role as a Death Eater or whatever.
Yeah.
But then also at the same rate, it's like, if you're not hiding anything, it's kind of like, yeah, go look. You're not going to find anything.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
even if it complains to Dumbledore, I could just see Dumbledore being like, "Are you hiding anything?" And I'm being like, "Of course not." And like, then who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like then go about your way. How big of an inconvenience really was it?
Right. Okay. So then Moody gives another big hint here and is having like a layered conversation. It says, "Believes in second chances, but me, I say there are spots that don't come off, Snape. Spots that never come off. You know what I mean?" And what he's of course talking about is the dark mark, which then Snape reaches to grab his own arm in the most unsubtle way possible.
Yes. And I mean, and I guess from Snape's perspective, it's like at that point, he knows that Moody knows exactly what's going on. And the only other person there is Filch, who's probably like shifting eyes back and forth. Like what am I witnessing?
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
You guys talking about? You guys got spots? Should we go to the hospital wing or?
Do we need help with that? Should we call Madame Pomfrey?
Madame Pomfrey?
Yeah.
Poppy?
Yes. Then Moody laughs. "Get back to bed, Snape. You don't have the authority to send me anywhere," Snape hissed, letting go of his arm as though angry with himself. "I have as much right to prowl the school after dark as you do." To which I was like, weird flex, but okay.
Yeah.
"Prowl away," said Moody, but his voice was full of menace. "I look forward to meeting you in the dark corridor sometime. You dropped something, by the way." What do you think he means by "I look forward to meeting you in a dark corridor sometime"? Like to duel, to fight?
Yeah, I know. Definitely to fight.
Is this not a dark corridor
right now? Dark corridor right now, or you think are you thinking it's more like I look forward to meeting you in a dark corridor sometime, a wink.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah.
That'd be weird. I don't see that, but I'm not seeing that ship very often. The old Moody Snape ship, you know.
Oh. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So like magical eye, wink. Yeah. The dark corridor. Not in front of Filch.
Right. Snooty.
Oh,
that's the worst ship.
It's a bad one.
It's a bad one.
People the world over just threw up in their mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
No good.
Thank you.
No good. Actually, this next line is rather fitting. "With a stab of horror."
Yeah.
That's how we all feel.
I know.
Yeah. Harry saw Moody point at the Marauder's map still lying on the staircase. Harry throws caution to the wind, raises his arm under the cloaks, and waves furiously at Moody to attract his attention, mouthing, "It's mine. Mine." And Snape is reaching out for with a horrible expression of dawning comprehension on his face when Moody goes, "Osseo parchment." And the map flew up into the air, slipped through Snape's outstretched fingers, and soared down the stairs into Moody's hand. "My mistake," Moody said calmly. "It's mine. Must have dropped it earlier."
Yeah. Pretty quick on the uptake there, and saving Harry here, but it's so bad. It's almost like, of course, how frustrating for Snape as well that like he suddenly realizes like, oh my gosh, it's that same piece of parchment from before.
It's a bad bit of parchment.
It's a bad bit of parchment. That's the parchment that insulted me. Yeah.
Do you think you would recognize parchment from 1 year prior?
I do not think that you would at all, but I would have loved it if Snape picked it up and it just started insulting him again. We got another round of the Marauders doing this.
That would be really great. Yeah. That would have been so good. Some kind of missed opportunity there. Oh, man, let's see here. Snape's black eyes were darting from the egg in Filch's arms to the map in Moody's hand, and Harry could tell he was putting two and two together as only Snape could.
Yep.
Which is, to me, it's like Snape, or it's Harry respecting Snape's game a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of being like, well, Snape is rather clever, and he's going to start putting this all together pretty quickly.
Like, very few people know that particular piece of parchment is attached to me and are connecting the dots between egg, map, Harry,
Yes.
Yeah, and he even knows he has the invisibility cloak, so he's really piecing it together very quickly.
Right. So yeah, so Harry's doing like the face palm emoji.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, just like, oh, butts, Potter.
Yeah.
He said quietly. "What's that?" said Moody calmly. Although it says said Moody calmly, so I can only imagine it's more like, "What's that?"
Yeah. Yeah. That almost seems right too. Like Moody, as far as Moody or Barty Crouch Jr. knows, Snape has no idea Harry is there, and he picks up the parchment. And Snape's like, "Potter," and he's like, "What's that?" What? How did you figure it out? How did you know? How do you know? Tell me. How do you know?
How do you know? Yes. Let's see here. Snape snarled. He actually turned his head and stared right at the place where Harry was, as though he could suddenly see him.
Yeah.
"That egg is Potter's egg. That piece of parchment belongs to Potter. I have seen it before. I recognize it. Potter is here. Potter in his invisibility cloak."
He is so spot on the money.
100%.
100%.
You are
I'm
not
surprised
wrong.
he doesn't go to the exact. I mean, even the trick step. Certainly, he must know of it.
Right.
You know, I'm taking to believe he's not like, oh my god, I know. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I even know what's going on here. I know exactly where he is. Harry could have sworn that his overlarge nostrils were dilating, trying to sniff Harry out.
Which probably would work right now.
Quite the visual. Yeah, it's true, because Harry's rather perfumed from that bath. There's nothing there, Snape, balked Moody, but I'll be happy to tell the headmaster how quickly your mind jumped to Harry Potter. Meaning
even
what?
that is it's such a button to push.
It is.
It is like he knows how to work him so good.
Right, yes. And Snape's sort of like, what do you mean? And he's like, meaning that Dumbledore's very interested to know who's got it in for that boy. And it's like, and you're immediately being suspicious of him. And it's like, he's definitely pinned him into a corner so quickly to where Snape has basically got no option but to just like, well, I guess I'm gonna walk away.
I guess I'll just leave. Whatever. I guess Potter's getting out of this again.
Right.
Yep. Let's see. And then Snape tries to cover for himself. He says, I merely thought that if Potter was wandering around after hours again, it is an unfortunate habit of his. Has to throw him under the bus there. He should be stopped for his own safety. Yeah. Sure.
It was a little hard to get those words out, wasn't it, there, buddy?
Yeah. Almost. Good try.
Right.
Yeah. Moody's not buying it. Got Potter's best interests at heart, have you? But actually, he does.
A little bit, yeah. But either way, yeah. So there's kind of like an awkward silence. Mrs. Norris gives out a loud meow, and Snape finally says, I think I'll go back to bed.
Yeah.
Best idea you've had all night, said Moody. Now, Filch, if you just give me that egg. And then Filch is like, but this is my baby.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm like, even if you give him back the egg, you still have the knowledge that you can still tell that he did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, he goes to Dumbledore, and Dumbledore's like, do you have the egg? And he's like, No. Moody took it. It's like, well, there's nothing we can do about that.
Sorry, Filch. Better luck next time. Hey-o.
That's right.
Anyway, while you're here in the middle of the night, can I pour you a drink? Okay, you're gone. Okay, so yeah, forget it.
They always are.
They're always gone.
Yep.
Everyone has something better. Don't wake Dumbledore up in the middle of the night. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have anything to do. I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. So everybody exits the scene. Now it's just Moody and Harry. A door slams in the distance. Harry's left staring down at Moody, who placed his staff on the bottommost stair and started to climb laboriously towards him, a dull clunk on every other step. Close shave, Potter, he muttered, which is kind of funny because Harry just got out of a bath. So
I know, right? Yeah.
Theoretically could have shaved.
Could have.
And then he says, yeah, thanks, said Harry weakly.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of an interesting exchange because it's going to be, I think this is going to be the one that puts Barty Crouch Jr. on his heels the most because he's going to be kind of like, but he's like, what is this thing? Pointing to the Marauders map. And Harry's like, just immediately forthright with the information.
I know.
Map of Hogwarts. And then Moody says, Merlin's beard.
Yeah.
This is some map, Potter.
I know. It's like suddenly he's like, oh my, like really, this is helpful.
Yes.
Yeah. Because unlike Harry, he's going to know how to use it effectively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And then Harry's like, Professor Moody, do you think you could help me out? What? Oh, yes, of course. Which is kind of like a moment where you can sort of just picture Moody like staring off to the distance and be like, the possibilities.
Right. Like his mind is racing. He has so much information suddenly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he's like, wait a minute here. Did you see who broke into Snape's office? And even that, able to like mask it as a question, like you could help me with this investigation, not like I need to make sure you don't know what the heck is going on.
Right. And so from Harry's perspective, of course, it's just sort of like naturally the Auror standing in front of me is trying to figure out who's breaking in. Even if he was standing up for me in front of Snape, we don't want people breaking into the castle.
Right.
And then Harry's like, yeah, I did. Harry admitted it was Mr. Crouch. Moody's magical eye whizzed over the entire surface of the map. He looked suddenly alarmed.
Oh, and even that, it's like he's alarmed because Harry just said, yeah, I saw you.
Yes.
But like you, the reader, read this as like, oh, Moody was also suspicious of Crouch. And he's like, what? Really? No. Like it's like as if Harry's confirmed something for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So Crouch, he said, you're sure, Potter? Positive, said Harry. Well, he's not here anymore, said Moody. His
I
eyes
can just
twisting over the
imagine.
back.
Well, it's not here anymore. Nope, nothing to see here.
It's like, it appears actually he's standing right in front of you, Harry. Are you sure there's not some mistake?
Yeah.
Crouch, that's very, very interesting. He said nothing for almost a full minute, still staring at the map. Yeah, so this is really just like, I don't know, like with context, it's so obvious what's happening.
I know.
But when you don't have the context, it's not. But that's I think that's like such a mark of good writing too.
I know. And then Harry's going to like try and get some information out of him here. Moody scared him slightly, yet Moody had just helped him avoid an awful lot of trouble, which is pretty much what he's doing the whole time. It's like, again, that's like correct instincts. He scares you because he's a Death Eater, but he's helping you because for the wrong reasons. So it's like both things are still true right here.
Exactly.
Harry is right on the money.
Yep. Then he's going to ask, Professor Moody, why do you reckon Mr. Crouch wanted to look around Snape's office? And it says, put it this way, Potter, Moody muttered finally. They say old Mad Eye's obsessed with catching dark wizards. And I think it's interesting that he uses, I mean, he's going to do it both in both instances here, but he's using third person to refer to old Mad Eye, despite the fact that he is old Mad Eye.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's funny because he could just be referring to actual Mad Eye. Is obsessed with catching dark wizards, but I'm nothing compared to Barty Crouch. So I guess he says I'm.
He does say I'm right there.
Yeah. But this is this line is going to come up in such a fascinating way later, because what Barty Crouch Jr. can't stand is a Death Eater who walked free, because what Barty Crouch Jr. believes is that as a Death Eater, you should have continued looking.
Yes, you should have been willing to look and stay open and continue spreading your terror and looking for Voldemort, and be willing to wait in Azkaban for him.
Exactly. So he's being completely honest here. He also hates Death Eaters who walked free. Yeah, basically. So his like frustration with Karkaroff or Snape is genuine. I guess you'd say, or Lucius Malfoy for that matter, being like another great example. Do you think could this have anything to do with maybe Mr. Crouch think there's something going on? Like what? Said Moody sharply.
Like Moody is like, he is petrified that Harry is on to him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, what is your theory? Tell me. How much do I need to hedge? You know?
Right. Yeah. And Harry's like, I don't know. All's been happening, hasn't it? It's been the Daily Prophet, the Dockmark at the World Cup, which was Barty Crouch Jr., the man standing right in front of him. Yep. And the Death Eaters and everything. Both of Moody's mismatched eyes widened. You're a sharp boy, Potter, he said.
It's like he's like really seeing Harry for the first time. All of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, you are a problem."
You are good at this.
Yeah.
You're a worthy adversary. Very possible. There have been some funny rumors flying around lately, helped by Rita Skeeter, of course. It's making a lot of people nervous, I reckon. A grim smile twisted his lopsided mouth. That's another interesting one, because I think that like grim smile is like kind of genuine. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then there's the famous line here: "If there's one thing I hate," he muttered more to himself than to Harry, and his magical eye was fixed in the left-hand corner of the map. "It's a Death Eater who walked free." So I wonder if that's him looking at himself there. But probably not. His eye was fixed in the left-hand corner of the map. So who was he looking at here?
I mean, that's like Snape's office, right?
Is it?
I mean, okay. I would think so. That's at least where it's described as where Barty Crouch was showing up on the map before.
Okay.
It's the bottom left-hand corner.
You're right. Okay. So then, so it looks like he's staring at Snape. So that's another hint, if you've been really paying attention, that Snape was a Death Eater.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, of course, he could be talking about Snape, who did not return to Voldemort and who, is just now in Dumbledore's employ.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And then, Harry stared. Oh, and then this is what he means. Could Moody possibly mean what Harry thought he meant? And what he means is Snape's a Death Eater. Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Which was true. But it's also, I think that's why we get the pensive scene here a little bit as well, because it's going to confirm that he was, but is no longer affiliated with Voldemort and everybody else, which sort of like alleviates Snape. It's kind of like, okay, so you're granting us enough information to feel like, okay, we're not completely misguided and thinking there's something off with Snape, but also he's reformed.
Right.
Dumbledore believes he's reformed. We believe Dumbledore.
Exactly.
Question mark. So
that's the question.
Right.
That's the big one.
Speaking of questions, though, then Moody has a question for Harry and says, "Can I borrow this?" And Harry is like, "Well, I'm really fond of my map, but on the other hand, you just got me out of a whole bunch of trouble." So it's like, yeah. Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
Good boy, growled Moody. I can make good use of this. This might be exactly what I've been looking for.
Yep.
So who is he looking for?
Well, that's a good question. This might be exactly what I've been looking for. He might just be like saying that as if this will help me catch whoever's, put your name in the Goblet of Fire or something, or like, because I think what he really wants is to make sure that Harry just doesn't have it more than anything.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Because at that point, it's kind of like if Harry keeps seeing Barty Crouch Jr. show up on the map, or Barty Crouch just show up on the map, it's going to be like, what's up with that?
Or at this point, has like Barty Crouch Sr. escaped yet? Because we know that. No, I don't think so, because isn't that when Harry has the dream?
Yeah, I think we're still coming up on it. We're a couple chapters out, so he's still going to have the second task, and then Padfoot returns, and then it'll be the madness of
Mr. Crouch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're still. I don't know if Barty Crouch Sr. would have escaped yet.
Well, because he's like, he knows to be looking for him on the map.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it seems like if he'd escaped already, it doesn't seem like it would take him that long to get to Hogwarts, I guess. I mean, you can't like apparate there, but
right. It's a handy tool for Barty Crouch Jr. no matter what, in case there is somebody he's like watching out for. I guess is what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get like a bit of an interesting scene as it pertains to like Harry's own career aspirations.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be Barty Crouch Jr. in disguise as Moody, basically suggesting to Harry that he should consider a career as an Auror, which is what Harry will go on to do, like canonically. So it's like, it's always kind of crazy that like the person who suggested it is not even Mad-Eye Moody, one of the greatest Aurors of all time. It's Barty Crouch Jr., one of the greatest criminals of all time.
I know.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess either which way, like you could, it could be genuine. It could be true. Like, I mean, Moody or Barty Crouch Jr. could be standing there being like, man, this kid is on it. Like, he'll never get there because my master will defeat him.
Right. It's this one. He's just like, putting the icing on the cake. Like, what would a concerned teacher actually say here?
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
To really throw suspicion off of myself. But Harry, of course, hasn't put much thought into it himself. And then he says that he's been working out the clue, and Moody winks at him too, like him and Snape.
Snooty.
Gross. Nothing like a nighttime stroll to give you ideas, Potter. See you in the morning. What does he mean here? Like nothing like a nighttime stroll to give you ideas.
I don't know what's going on with that one. I mean, nothing in particular really reads as if like we know of any other situation. I mean, Moody Crouch Jr. certainly is spending plenty of time out in the middle of nights. I mean, attacking the original Mad-Eye Moody. He's out now.
Yeah.
I don't know if like maybe he's just sort of like bird of a feather. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he's trying to say there.
Yeah.
Myself. Unless this particular nighttime stroll gave him a bunch of ideas or something.
That could certainly be the case as well.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see here. Harry walked back slowly to Gryffindor Tower, lost in thought about Snape and Crouch and what it all meant. Why was Crouch pretending to be ill if he could manage to get into Hogwarts when he wanted to?
He can't.
He can't. What did he think Snape was concealing in his office?
Nothing.
And Moody thought that Harry, ought to be an Auror.
Not Moody. This is just a bunch of questions that like clog the reader's brain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting idea, but somehow Harry thought as he got quietly into his 4-poster bed 10 minutes later, the egg and cloak now safely back in his trunk, he thought he'd like to check out how scarred the rest of them were before he chose it as a career.
Indeed. Harry himself will, the only scars he'll get in his fights against the dark arts in the series will be the scar on his forehead, which he already has, and the one on the back of his hand from Umbridge in the next book that says, I must not tell lies.
There you go.
So he will get some scars.
He will get some scars.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, really just like he's already got one scar and he will continue to get, depending on if you count each letter as its own unique scar, that just counts as one scar.
I think you're going to one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He'll have two.
Oh, two big scars.
Yeah. There you go. But that does bring us to the end of chapter 25. Jay, do you have a review for us?
I sure do. Let me pull it up right here. It's from Meech the Goat. They say, love the show, can't wait for more. Hey, brother, love the YouTube and the podcast. I binge watch all the videos and episodes. Second rewatch of the podcast now, and I was wondering if you guys believe that the Resurrection Stone would be able to send a ghost to the afterlife. It has the power to summon people who already went, so would it be reasonable that it could send them on?
Ooh. I mean, interesting question.
Could you use the resurrection stone? So basically what they're saying is like the way that it's described, the resurrection stone working is that it can bring the person and it's as if you're seeing them from behind a veil.
Right.
Which makes it sound like, and then when we actually see like Harry's parents and Lupin and Sirius come through, do we think they look, or do we think those are like ghosts?
I sort of interpret it that way. Like they're not like totally like opaque, if you will. Or
are they like closer to like the Priori Incantatum situation?
Could be a little bit closer to the Priori Incantatum. How are they described in Priori Incantatum?
Well, let's see.
Like more solid?
So
I feel like it says like the ghostly figure of Cedric Diggory emerged.
Let's see. I'm on the. I'll keep you keep saying things and I'll find it.
Well, okay. So the other big thing I was going to try to say though is that it's like as though behind a veil. I've always thought was very specifically like interesting phrasing because then like when Harry and Luna, both of whom are capable of like seeing thestrals, are standing before the veil in the Department of Mysteries. They also can both like hear noises coming through the veil, and the veil is effectively like in the movie, Bellatrix hits Sirius with Avada Kedavra, and that's like what kills him, and then he just like falls backward like into the veil. But in the books, he is just blasted backwards through the veil, which ends up killing him. It's a one-way portal to death. It's like that is like the actual physical embodiment of the natural world's creation, like the pathway between these two worlds. But it's a one-way trip. And so we've asked a lot of questions in the past, like could you destroy a Horcrux by throwing it through the veil? And I think the answer is yes. Could a ghost pass on to death by like going through the veil? And I would also think yes. Like that would be my hunch there. Like one of two things would happen. Either they wouldn't go through the veil at all and they would just pass through to literally the other side. And in the way that Harry looks around the veil to see if Sirius is just like hiding on the other side.
Yeah.
And obviously he's not. So the question would be like, would a ghost just pass right through, or could they potentially like pass on by way of this unique individual manifestation? Because they've also built the entire Ministry of Magic around the veil. Like it's a fairly protected artifact.
Yeah, I feel like a ghost, yes, could like send themselves on by passing through the veil.
Okay.
Yeah. As for what it's worth, I did find the passage here. It says, if ever Harry might have released his wand from shock, it would have been then, but instinct kept him clutching his wand tightly so that the thread of golden light remained unbroken, even though the thick gray ghost of Cedric Diggory, was it a ghost? It looked so solid, emerged in its entirety from the end of Voldemort's wand as though it were squeezing itself out of a very narrow tunnel, and this shade of Cedric stood up and looked up and down the golden thread of light and spoke. So it describes him as Harry's initial reaction is ghost, but then it seems more solid, the ghost. Then it calls him a shade. And then let's see, Frank Bryce is going to come out as well. The old man had seen, and Justice Cedric Dunn and his ghost or his shadow or whatever it was fell next to Cedric's. So don't get a really good word for. It doesn't seem like we're settling on ghost for what comes out of the wand there.
Okay, fair enough. The other kind of like interesting aspect that I think you always have to bring into mind when you're talking about the artifacts of the Peveril brothers is whether or not they were actually gifts from Death himself, or whether or not Dumbledore is correct in his assertion that the Peveril brothers were just gifted wizards capable of creating such powerful objects. And I think that like one of the things that we've supposed before is that the Elder Wand actually had a brother wand, which is the wand that Dumbledore would eventually end up with, like before, like meeting Grindelwald.
Yeah.
And so like they both literally would have like Thestral core wands that would have, been passed down through the ages from the original Peveril brothers.
Right.
One of which is of course Antioch's, which has the reputation of being unbelievably powerful because that's sort of like what Antioch's like brand and intention and everything was with the wand. Like that's what he was attempting to do. Well, we've also supposed before that they possibly created the Resurrection Stone by creating a Priori Incantatum effect between two brother elder wands. And what lied in the center was effectively like a stone manifestation of Priori Incantatum, which would then sort of like present it with similar abilities, which would then mean, are you with me?
Yeah. Like they hit like a stone in the middle. That's what we said once, right?
Yes, we've had that theory somewhere along the line before. So if that's the case, then maybe whatever the Resurrection Stone does is sort of like channels whoever you're trying to recover and can kind of bring them out through a quasi Priori Incantatum form of magic.
Right.
I mean, this is all just purely like guesswork.
Yeah,
right now.
it absolutely is. I would say that the Resurrections, here's my thought, is that if the Resurrection Stone can pull like the ghost version of someone from one side of the veil through so that you can talk to them but not like experience their like living self, then the reverse of that would be like I don't think it could send a ghost. Like I think it could pull a ghost through if you had the Resurrection Stone on the other side of the veil. Like, and you tried to like if you could somehow exist on the other side of the veil without dying, which you could not do, then you could use the Resurrection Stone and like think of Nearly Headless Nick, and it would like summon him to that side of the veil, and it would kill him.
Okay,
that's what I think.
But you would have to be in the veil with the stone and maintain your intention.
Yeah,
which you can't do.
You can't do. So I don't think it would work. I think the Resurrection Stone is a one-way thing. Like it makes sense to me that it would work that way too, but you couldn't be on the other side and use it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me as well. And I think I'd be in the same boat. I was just trying to run through like everything, like all the deep lore we've ever like investigated about the Deathly Hallows. Cause I mean, they're so uniquely capable in terms of their power that you have to sort of like, you know, like hold them in this higher regard. You have to sort of like right. Think of everything in sort of like more unique possibility circumstances. But yeah, I don't really think that there's anything that the Resurrection Stone seems to have or suggest that would lead us to believe that it would have the power to like send something back.
Right.
Or send something on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. So good question. Good thinker.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, continue to leave those reviews for us. Hopefully we'll answer one of your questions at the end of a future episode. But I do believe that brings us to the end of this week's episode.
That does. Make sure you join us next week for chapter 26, The Second Task, here on Through the Griffin Door.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.